and who we'll see for our starting five for both teams. And one of the guys we'll be seeing in this one, James Harden.
Well, the number one priority for a defense when you face this guy is to keep him getting anywhere from the basket because he's just so strong as a finisher.
Very true, Steve. I mean, he's also one of those guys who doesn't take long at all to get on a roll offensively. It's a fun player to watch when he gets hot.
For the Portland Trail Blazers, they won their last contest, that game against the Nuggets in Denver.
Tell you what, the way they shot the ball that game, Kevin, it looked like a shoot-around out there.
It sure did, and all the more impressive because they did it on the road. You're not supposed to be able to get that hot in an opponent's building. Rising high to throw that one down.
Sky high, fantastic one-hand jam.
Yeah, what a way to wrap up that possession.
Back to Dang. Collison up top. He feeds it to Harden. Clock at 6. Gibson. Working on Henson. From 10 feet out. And they turn over the 24-second buzzer, signaling the shot clock violation.
Coach Popovich was fined last season for sitting out his top players in a nationally televised matchup against the Heat. I certainly understand the league's posture there, and it was a lot said about it. Yet, for a veteran team like the Spurs with championship aspirations, I understand resting key players during the course of the regular season.
And Lillard kicks to Henson. Allen. Spurs passing it around. Here's Cousins. Oh, yes, the turnaround.
You know, he's got a quick trigger from that range when he senses that the defense has backed off.
And back to that fine for Popovich, $250,000. Steve, that'll leave a dent.
Yeah, no doubt. But, you know, Popovich enjoys tweaking the league at times. This was clearly an effort to do that. But, look, I think it's good for him to actually, you know, kind of let the league know every once in a while that if you're going to give us that kind of schedule with my older team, I'm going to sit them down once in a while.
Now, here's Lillard after the miss from Gibson. And Lillard kicks to Allen. Back to Lillard. Stolen by Harden. All alone. Rips down the breakaway slam.
Guys, that's simply superb. Ball pressure, a run out, and then a dunk in transition.
Exactly, Clark, what they wanted. The aggressive defense to lead to.
Yeah, points in transition.
Yeah, that's why you want to make the other team feel uncomfortable handling the ball because you can get easy points out of it at the other end.
And here in the first, approaching 3 minutes played.
You know, the Blazers found themselves, guys, near the bottom of the West last season, and typically when that happens, you struggle against the rest of the conference, and that was certainly the case for Portland.
Now, here is Harden, coming off a solid outing against Denver.
Boy, he shows a lot of desire when he's fighting for that tough board, and his length doesn't hurt either.
Back to Cousins. Working on Sanders. The drive by Cousins. And the dunk to finish it off. A beauty. This game's going to take a big swing. Clark, if the D continues to clear out like that and give up easy dunks.
Yeah, that's the kind of defense we expect to see in a blowout, Kevin, or even an exhibition game, not a close game like this.
Look how frustrated Steve is on this.
Well, you know what, Kevin?
Come
on, Kevin. I just like that he didn't choose to just lay it up. I mean, he threw it down with force.
Portland did have their problems, as you said, Clark, against the West. A big part of it was late in the season. They were beat up and lost their last 13 games of the year. Steve, mostly those losses coming to Western teams.
Well, that was a big slide for them. And, you know, they probably made their 18-34 mark in the conference seem probably a little worse than it should have. But, look, they were out of the playoffs. They lost their edge, and they were playing a lot of young people. I think this is a team that has a chance to make a big comeback.
Doris Burke has some information for us. Doris?
Well, guys, the head coach for the Portland Trail Blazers gave me just a couple of minutes. He told me he's wary about how they'll contend with DeMarcus Cousins inside. He said he's a beast in there, no doubt about it. Size, length, strength, and a ton of skill. The talent is really off the charts with him. And, guys, he knows it won't be easy to muscle Cousins away from the rim, but he said that's what they've got to find a way to do. It won't be easy.
Thanks, Doris. Spurs have gone 4 of 5 from the field so far.
Well, John Henson out of North Carolina, really known for his defense. The question is, can he develop offensively? He's kind of a tweener, not really big enough to score on the low block. Doesn't have the shooting range to play the three. So we'll see where he fits in, but he's got a ton of potential.
It's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot. And for John Henson, there's no question with his ability defensively. If he develops offensively, Clark, it could really catapult his career as a player.
And you know, Kevin, I think in his rookie season, he was a little further along in that regard than many expected. Not the greatest percentages, but he did score at a pretty high clip when he was on the court.
The Spurs making a switch here. Scola's checked in. The Trailblazers making a switch here. Spates is checked in.
All right, a chance to check out some stats for James Harden. Terrific year last season for him. 5th in scoring, 7th in steals, and he was very solid from the foul line, closing out the year among the top 20 in terms of free throw percentage.
And Steve, he was definitely one of the most reliable, efficient scorers in the NBA. I mean, his top 5 ranking put him right there in the ranks of the elite scorers.
Now, here's Lillard. He's coming off a 16-point game against the Lakers. Here's Henderson. The offensive rebound. Cousins. And he uses the glass on the layup. Cousins has got 6.
He's a grinder. Love what he does under the offensive boards, really bringing energy and life to his team.
Harden kicks to Collison. Back to Harden. Pass to Collison. Good ball movement here by the Trailblazers. And boy, that looked like goaltending. Yes, it is, and so they will award the basket there.
He got there late, but you do have to like the aggressiveness to go after the block. But that one's going to count.
And Lillard kicks to Allen. Back to Lillard. Pulls up on the wing. Can't get it to go. Great D that time from Collison. Last outing for San Antonio, it was a loss to the Lakers in Los Angeles.
And that game featured one of the least consistent offensive performances you're going to see from them, Clark.
Yeah, no spurt ability on display at all, fellas. I mean, they needed to make a few runs, but it just never was able to happen for them.
Here's Lillard after the made shot from Spates. Henders the dishes to Lillard. Kicks it to Cousins. 5 on the clock. Back to Lillard. And it's going to be out of bounds. The Trailblazers will take Portland ball. Portland leading by 3. Collison, the pass to Harden. Passes it to Sanders. Now the dish to Spates. Scola on him. 6 to shoot. Kicks it out to Harden. Another shot. And another shot. And a foul on the shot. He'll go to the stripe for 2. They get Luis Scola.
Well, the one thing that you have to have in basketball is big men who can protect the rim. And that's what Sanders does. He's willing to go up and block shots, really patrol the paint, and protect that rim area.
Yeah, you know, but there's nothing easy in the lane when Sanders is on the floor. Always have to be looking over your shoulder if you plan on putting up a shot with him around. Looking at who's out there now for the Spurs. Chuck Hayes, he's checked in for Cousins. Miller comes in for Gerald Henderson. And it's Rush in for Ray Allen. Here's Williams after Luis Scola's score. Lewis outside. And there's the pass to Spates. Count the bucket. And the Trailblazers lead by 4.
He is just so good from that range, guys.
You know, never mind with the height advantage he had there.
Here's Burke. Off target from outside. For Portland, they've gone 7 of 13, just over 50% from the floor. Some good looks. Williams kicks to Bell. Williams defended by Burke. Spates against Scola. And it's wide right. It's off the rim. Spurs trail by 4.
You know, the Spurs really have a cohesive culture, and part of that is something that Greg Popovich has been able to do, and that's being able to join guys together that normally might not hang out. For instance, you had Matt Bonner taking Steven Jackson out to a Coldplay concert last season. One way to help guys get to know each other off the court, and it helps them on the court.
So timeout called here, the first for Portland. And back to Popovich and the Spurs, he really makes a point of getting to know his players and have them get to know one another.
That's right, Kevin. He likes to have his players have a sense of perspective about the world. He wants them to know that there are other things going on besides the NBA. In fact, back in 2012, he had the players watching the presidential debates together.
Catching up on the changes for Portland. Andres Biedrins, he's checked in for Sanders. And Taj Gibson is subbed in for Maurice Spates. Here's Gibson. It's good. Great play by Williams to set it up. Gibson's got his first points of the night.
He had a whole lot of space to get that shot off.
Yeah, I don't think the defender did a good job there of getting over the top of the screen.
He dishes it to Burke. No good on the shot, a bit long that time. Trailblazers leading by 4. Williams gets a screen from Biedrins. He kicks it to Bell. Who is outside? Launches it. Can't get it to go. So the Spurs will take it the other way. And this game, the first chance they've had to see Portland.
Well, somewhat surprisingly, they actually lost the season series last year, and playoff status apparently meant nothing when it came to how they matched up.
And it's good. Now it's a 7-point Portland lead.
Looked like the defense was totally scattered on that fast break. Nice job taking advantage there with the wide open 3.
Scola dishes to Miller. Buried from 15 feet out. Miller's got his first points of the game.
It was almost like he was surprised to be that wide open, yet he knocked it down.
Now here's Williams, guarded closely. Dishes it to Lewis. The fadeaway. That's good. And the Trailblazers lead by 7. Here is Miller. And the release was before the buzzer, but it's off target. And we reach the end of... And now the second quarter just getting set to start. And a moment here to take a look at some of the hustle stats for the Trailblazers.
Tell you what, guys, they're showing us a lot of energy early on and racking up those fast break points.
Yeah, and I've noticed also that their quick hands have led to a lot of forced turnovers. They're getting some points in transition as a result.
On the court for San Antonio here in the second. Allen out there with Damian Lillard. Then it's Henderson. Then it's John Henson. And it's Cousins in at the pivot spot, manning the middle. And Doris Burke has something for us. Hey, Doris.
Gentlemen, Ray Allen is arguably the greatest three-point shooter in NBA history. It's a shot crafted by endless reps in the gym, and he thinks being a bit, quote, obsessive-compulsive may have fed into his legendary dedication. He recalled back when he was 8 years old. He always had to make 5 left-handed layups and 5 right-handed layups before he could leave the gym. But one day, another team needed the gym, and he had to leave before he could complete his ritual. He said, "I cried. It messed up my day." Guys, it sounds strange, but that's Ray.
But Doris, for all of his downsides, that devotion to repetition is part of what's made Allen such an amazing shooter. At the end of the day, it certainly worked for him. Now here's Gibson, following the miss by DeMarcus Cousins. Well, now they're just going to town on it.
Yeah, you'd think these defenders would have done a little more to put a stop to that stuff, Kevin, but so far, no go.
Well, a phenomenal aerial assault there, fellas.
Biedrins pulls it in.
Gerald Henderson coming off his best season, guys. Three-point shooting was one of his weaknesses, and he made a huge leap in that area. Shot around 37% from the arc, much better than his first 3 seasons.
The kick out to Williams. No good on the triple. Spurs trailed by 11. Guys are looking for a spark here.
Yeah, I mean, a cold stretch offensively. They desperately need a basket.
Lillard misses. Well, going back to Henderson and the three-point shot, despite his improvement, not one he leaned on that heavily.
Well, that's smart, because if you're not a great three-point shooter, you've got to be very selective. And more often than not, Henderson would shoot the corner three, but avoid the longer ones. That's the sign of maturity. It's a sign of a player who understands his limitations.
Here's Lillard, following the score by Rashard Lewis. Lillard, the pass to Henson. Allen outside. The feed to Lillard. Soft touch off the glass. Lillard's got his second basket of the game.
Took advantage of some shoddy defense there. They've got to at least get a finger on it.
And Bell kicks to Lewis. And now Williams inside. And Ray Allen gets the whistle that time. That's his first foul. So San Antonio goes with a fresh 5 on the floor. Out of bounds, Trailblazers ball as Portland keeps possession.
A chance here, Kevin, to check out how the Trailblazers ranked in the NBA last season. 6th in free throw percentage, 15th in scoring. And as far as team shooting percentage, not really a strong suit for them. They were in the top 20 and tried to compensate for that lack of shooting with better defense.
And this is a good shooting team, Clark. It really shows in their free throw percentage. You mentioned they were in the top 10 in terms of free throw percentage as a team last year. I think it's important for this club to really attack offensively. When they do get to the line, they tend to knock down their free throws, and those easy points go a long way.
San Antonio shooting their first free throw attempt on the night.
No, they were very pleased with their free throw numbers a year ago. They knocked down about 79% from the stripe as a team.
And you know, a lot of times, guys, in some of their performances last year, their free throw numbers helped them win games.
Sanders dishes to Spates. Feeds it to Harden. He passes to Collison. Right side, Collison. Dang goes in. He hits the back iron and sinks the shot. Dang's got his second basket of the night. Spurs trail by 10.
You know, even though it was a down year for the Blazers in terms of their overall record last year, they still enjoyed quite a bit of success at home. It's one of the better home court advantages in the league.
You know, Miller has battled injuries over the last few seasons, but when he's right, he can really help you on the wing, particularly as a rebounder and a spot-up shooter. Can really bury that three-point ball.
Yeah, a great shooter and rebounder, competes defensively. You know, a lot to like about his game. And for the Blazers, as you said, not the year they wanted, but Steve, they still managed to finish 22-19 here in Portland.
Well, it was a young team, very talented starting 5, but very little depth. And I think over the course of an 82-game season, the lack of bench help really cost Portland. But a lot to be excited about, some good young talent, and a home court that traditionally has been very positive for this team.
You know, Darren Collison, DC as he's known, is a guy that does everything you want from a point guard at a decent level, but really doesn't excel at anything in a great fashion. Sort of falls into the jack-of-all-trades category.
Collison hits them both. And Clark, you mentioned Collison not dominant in any one category. What areas, Steve, do you think that Darren Collison can improve in?
Well, he can be a very good defender when he puts pressure on defenses, so he's got to focus on that end of the floor. And then offensively, probably shoots a little bit more often than he should. You know, at that size, you want a guard who's going to get your team into an offense.
Just 5 on the clock. Scola. Shot is off. And it's Portland the other way. 13 points was their biggest lead in the game. Harden the pass to Collison. Collison off the pick from Spates. Jumper off the screen. That's good on the jump shot. And it's 8 points for Collison.
They pulled up from mid-range more often than not. They bury.
You know, that's not always the number one option, but if the defense gives that to you, you got to take it.
San Antonio calls timeout. And as we get a break here, important for the teams to go over their own strategy, and for the players, this is where you have a chance to get rehydrated with Gatorade. Put out your best effort as the game wears on.
You know, it's amazing when you're playing during the season. If you go through a stretch where you don't hydrate, it can have a major physical toll on you. Your body wears down quicker. You don't recover as fast, and that can really take its toll over the course of an 82-game season.
Looking at who's out there now for the Spurs. John Henson's checked in for Scola, and it's Henderson for Mike Miller.
Well, Blazers coach Terry Stotts is a branch on the tree of head coach George Karl, and that's a pretty good tree to be on. In his playing days, Karl coached Stotts in the CBA, and Actually starts out a pretty good career in Europe.
And out of bounds as the Spurs gain possession.
24 seconds on the shot clock.
Spurs trail by 9. Here is Lillard. All alone. Tries again, and it's blocked by Deng. And here we go, Harden.
Oh, man, that was unreal. Hard it up.
And this sort of awesome dunk is one of the reasons this team is in charge of this game right now.
Clark, there is a swagger out here on the court that they possess and are not afraid to show it either.
That's right.
Those are phenomenal dunks to watch. So much fun.
And Lillard kicks to Allen. Henderson dishes to Hayes. Pass to Henson. And the layup's good off the glass. Henson's got his first points in this one.
Good ball movement. He put that pass in the ideal spot, right where it needed to be.
On the wing, Harden. Henderson defending. Copeland can't hit. Spurs trailed by 9. Okay, well, let's check in with Doris Burke reporting from our sideline in this game. Doris, take it away.
Well, fellas, Greg Popovich, known for his sarcastic, sometimes contemptuous answers to some of the questions from us media members. He said it seems to entertain everyone but his wife. She tells him to cut it out, be a grown man, and show some maturity. But he said, I can't. I simply can't do it. Guys?
Yeah, he's a piece of work, isn't he? Thank you, Doris. Here's Lillard, following the score by Luol Deng. Now, here's Lillard. He feeds it to Henderson. And it's James Harden with the rebound.
Oh, boy, he is just cold as ice. I don't think he's going to be the one to help them cut into the lead.
On the high post. They get it back. Gibson passes to Copeland. Off target with his 3. Spurs trailed by 11. And Lillard kicks to Hayes. Laid in with a nice touch off the glass. Hayes has got his second bucket of the night.
They have repeatedly probed inside in the first half, guys, and it's paid dividends.
Yeah, it sure has, Clark. I mean, with as many points as they've gotten in the paint, they really haven't had to do much on the perimeter.
Now a timeout called by Portland.
Well, for John Henson, the 14th pick of the 2012 NBA draft out of North Carolina, he really was caught in a bit of a logjam in Milwaukee. There were a lot of players at his position, a power forward spot, on their roster last season, and that kept him from getting extended minutes.
Now, here is Harden. He has 6. Deng. Outside Collison. Pass to Harden. Good ball movement here by the Trailblazers. Here's Spates. Rebounded by the Spurs. Henson's got rebound number 5 here tonight. And Clark, you mentioned for John Henson, tough to get minutes his rookie season, but Steve, per minute, his numbers were very impressive.
Well, if you look at Henson, he's one of those guys who just fills up the stat sheet. I mean, he's going to have numbers in just about every category. Incredibly long, active defender, can guard multiple positions, and he can score around the basket on putbacks.
The Spurs would end up as the 2nd seed in the West and were right in the hunt for being the top seed for the majority of last season, but one reason they fell short was that they just weren't as good as they needed to be during in-conference games. That was a nice finish to an excellent possession.
Lillard outside. There's 49 seconds left to play here in the second quarter. Hits despite the tough D. Allen's got 4 points now in the quarter. Going back to the Spurs, they did well against the West, but Steve didn't come close to matching the win totals of every other top team in the West.
Yeah, they would end the season with a 33-19 conference record, which, is pretty good, but still only 5th best in the West. It shows you how strong the Western Conference was a year ago, particularly at the top.
Gets it to go. That's now 8 points for James Harden. Spurs trailed by 11. Now Lillard. Allen dishes to Cousins. Henderson somehow ignores the tight D and gets the layup. And here is Dang. It's Harden with the drive. And you can count it. He'll go to the line with a chance to make it 3.
And you love the concentration. He gets hit, but stays with the play.
Yeah, he showed a lot right there. Plenty of concentration, finding a way to get that shot to fall.
First trip to the free throw line for him tonight. And stolen by Spates. Got it off in time. And it would have counted had it fallen, but it's offline. And welcome back, everybody. Third quarter just about to get going here in what has been so far a runaway game. One of the stories here, James Harden getting it done today.
Yeah, what a remarkable half the way he attacked the rim and scored in the paint. Defenders they were trying to slow him down any way possible, but he still got through.
Easier said than done when he's the penetrator. His speed and agility make him extremely hard to defend.
Third quarter action getting rolling right now, brought to you by Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go. Here's who's on the floor. On the court right now for the Trailblazers, we've got Dang. Sanders out there with Maurice Spates. There's Collison, and it's Harden in at the 2 guard.
Dropped that one in as soft as a feather using the finger roll.
Trailblazers leading by 12. Outside Dang. Kicks it to Collison. Unloads. And that one hits back iron. The Spurs shooting an outstanding 53% for the game. That's a 2 from Lillard. Another one falls for San Antonio. And with a little over a minute gone, the second half is underway. Harden outside. Spates. Offensive rebound. Sanders passes to Collison. Dang kicks to Harden. Back to Dang. Ball's knocked loose. Stolen by Henderson. And oh, here we go. Lillard's got it, the fast break chance. Passes it to Cousins. That's good.
Nothing but money for him to start the half. They've made all 3 of their shot attempts.
Portland leading. The dish to Collison. Uses the glass to finish the layup. Collison's got 10 points in the game. For San Antonio, they've gone 3 of 3 from the field since halftime. Collison against Lillard. The pass to Allen. Shot clock at 6. Cousins, Sanders covering. And then Cousins with the dunk. They'd love to get more of those, the easiest 2 points possible. And on a fierce finish.
Yeah, and that's exactly how they're going to cut into the lead, Kevin.
Yeah, that's why they've got to tighten up their D. And I'd be surprised if the defense allows any more free runs to the hoop like that.
Hope they get it back. Here's Dang. Knocks down the 3 ball. 9 points in the game so far.
And, guys, Dang has developed into a very good shooter, especially off spot-ups or maybe one-dribble pull-ups. He's got range. He's developed that out to the three-point line. But he really likes to go to that mid-range area. 1 or 2 dribbles into the paint, he'll rise up, shoot right over the top.
But you know what I like about him most, Steve? Dang is a very well-balanced player. He does a lot of good things offensively, but he's just as good at the defensive end. He's a big key to his team's tough defense.
Now here's Collison. Following the miss by DeMarcus Cousins. Collison against Lillard. Shoots. Here's Sanders. Nice concentration to hit the double clutch layup. And the Trailblazers lead by 13. We've gone about 3.5 minutes into the third now. Allen outside. He dishes it to Cousins. He's against Sanders. And it's out of bounds. The Spurs able to retain possession here. Taj Gibson's checked in for the Trailblazers. Here's Allen. Misses off the right iron.
It was a nice season for former Indiana Pacer Darren Collison last year. Acquired by the Mavs, he stepped into the starting role and responded fairly well.
Gibson dishes to Collison. Just 5 to shoot. Dang. And he drops in the layup off the glass. Sanders has got 6. And for Collison last season, he shot the ball well and upped his rate of scoring and assists.
And it's the increase in assists that encourages me, Kevin. He's not a dynamic playmaker, but I think he's becoming a solid one. And with his quickness and shooting, he really just needs to be more of a point guard, more of a distributor to reach his full potential. Well, it's the edge they've had in that area on the glass that's played a big role in this game.
Yeah, they've got some strong guys, Steve. Guys that are strong and well put together, and they've used that strength to their advantage down low.
Now, here is Harden. They lead by the biggest margin of the game, 15 points. Here's Gibson. And a big bounce off the rim, but it sinks right in. He's got 8.
Every time they get scored on during this run, it's come from inside the paint.
Now, you got to make a defensive adjustment here, Clark. Time to collapse inside, force the ball back out on the perimeter, make them beat you from long range.
So San Antonio going with an almost entirely new group here.
You know, for now, the Trailblazers are still the basketball team in the Pacific Northwest. You know, Seattle made a strong push to acquire the Kings, made a record bid, but the owners decided that Sacramento had done its part to keep the Kings, and so Seattle has to wait.
Taken away by Williams. And here we go. Bell into the hoop. Back to Williams. He kicks it to Bell. Dishes it to Gibson. The feed to Williams. 5 to shoot. Up off the screen.
This has been a one-sided game in just about every area. The lead continues to grow.
Absolutely. Their offense and their D have been equal parts outstanding.
And Lillard kicks to Allen. Back to Lillard. Trying to get back on track. The rebound by Gibson. Gibson's got 4 rebounds in this game. Williams with the ball. Guarded now by DeMarcus Cousins. Lewis passes to Williams. Bell. Williams. Defended by Lillard. And Lewis backs down. Fades back. Can't hit. Now San Antonio takes it the other way. They're off to Denver after this game as they apply their skills at the Pepsi Center. That'll be the 3rd game of this 3-game road trip. Back to Allen. Feeds it to Cousins. And that'll be San Antonio as it goes on about. Spurs retain possession.
Well, that pass had just a little bit too much heat on it for him to make a clean steal.
Yeah, I think it would have been a tough catch for either of them.
And the Spurs making a change here. Luis Scola, he's checked in for Cousins. Miller comes in for Gerald Henderson. Brandon Rush, he's checked in for Ray Allen. And it's Burke in for Damian Lillard. Here's Williams after the made shot from Burke. Williams kicks to Gibson. Back to Williams. And out of bounds as San Antonio gains possession.
Well, we've got a moment to look back to last year's Spurs right now. First in assists, second in field goal percentage. And they were ranked number 3 in free throw shooting. A number of outstanding free throw shooters on this team.
And Clark, what you talked about that really resonates with me is the assists, because they were the best in the league. Clearly a result of wonderful offensive execution and, of course, unselfishness. It didn't seem to matter who was taking the shot. That team always tried to find the open man.
Here's Scola. And it's Spates with the rebound. Spates has got his 3rd rebound on the night.
Such a solid performance for them inside. Their rebounding has been terrific.
Yeah, that's just one of the few things that have gone their way today.
Difficult shot from mid-range, and the defense was all over it.
Well, I like the close out there, Steve. Well done.
Burke with it. Rashard Lewis covering. And the dunk by Scola. A free run to the hoop and some thunder on the finish.
Not exactly the way the Z would have drawn that one up.
And when you got the space, you might as well throw it down. That's what I always used to do.
Now here's Williams. Back to Gibson. True on the 14-footer. Gibson's got 4 points now in the quarter.
You know, it seems like when they've gone to him, he's really come through. And that's not something they should get away from.
Scola, a screen on Williams. Pass to Miller. And that'll be San Antonio as it goes out of bounds. Spurs retain possession. Chris Copeland's checked in for Portland. Collison comes in for Terrence Williams. Now here's Burke. He's covered by Collison. Here's Scola. It's stolen by Bell. Bell off the pick from Spates. Outside Collison. And stolen by Burke. And now Miller running the floor all by himself. And that one's good. Miller's got 7.
And the defense just lets him go there.
And once he hit the open floor, there was no looking back. Straight to the rack.
Collison kicks to Copeland. Copeland off the pick from Spates. He feeds it to Gibson. Outside Collison. 6 on the shot clock. And Portland again with the bucket. 40 seconds left to play in the third. Burke with it. Back to Scola from 18 feet away. And he hits the jump shot. He's got 7. 27 seconds left in the third quarter. Gibson setting the pick for Collison. Pass to Copeland. The 19-foot shot off the left rim and out.
That's a shot he's got to hit. You don't get too many better looks from that range.
Burke kicks to Rush. The tray. And that one's good. Rush has got 6. And Portland has possession. Here's Collison. Rejected by Rush. And as we end the third quarter, a double-digit deficit. Welcome back as we get ready to start the fourth quarter. Not exactly a nail-biter here, but you never know. And look at how the hustle game has been going for the Trailblazers.
Their activity at the defensive end, Kevin, has been really impressive. Attacking and coming away with steals.
Something that's also benefited them tonight are the turnovers they've forced and the points that have come along with those forced turnovers.
On the floor for San Antonio, we've got John Henson, Damian Lillard out there with Allen, then it's Henderson, and it's Cousins, and at the 5 down low.
And his confidence has come back since halftime after really a rough first 2 quarters.
The Trailblazers making a switch here. Spates is checked in. Collison against Lillard. Harden outside for the 3. Rebound San Antonio. Cousins has got his 4th rebound in this one. And Lillard kicks to Allen. Drills the 3-pointer.
Something starting to click for this team, guys. You can feel it. The 3-pointers are dropping. Their offense is flowing.
They've had a great second half from long range.
Now here's Dang. Deep 2 from Collison. Excellent D there from Damian Lillard.
Well, I think the defense got lucky right there. I mean, he's going to make a lot more of those than he misses when he's got that much room.
And the foul called on Larry Sanders. That is his first foul of the game. A little over a minute of the fourth quarter gone right now. And Lillard kicks to Allen. Can't hit. Some solid defense from Sanders. Trailblazers leading by 5. Passes it to Harden. Goes back up. And it's good on the way up.
Boy, he crashed the boards with purpose right there. Well-deserved second chance points for him.
Collison against Lillard. Kicks to Allen. Hangs in midair and converts on the double clutch layup.
Guys, he shot a very good percentage today, and they've needed it.
Harden outside. Gives him the lead pass. And it's out of bounds. The Trailblazers able to retain possession here.
8 seconds of the shot clock. 8.
And he gets it to go from the high post. And the Trailblazers lead by 7.
He shouldn't be afraid to take that shot more often. He's solid from there.
And Lillard kicks to Cousins. On the left block. And fouled hard that time. He'll get to the line and shoot 2.
Well, I think this is one of the more amazing stats in sports when you think about it. No matter the season or the roster, the Spurs just seem to find ways to win 50 games. They've done it 14 straight seasons now, which is off the charts.
Luis Scola, he's checked in for John Henson. And Clark, as you said, the Spurs last season hitting 50 wins for the 14th consecutive season. By the way, that's an NBA record. Second closest were the Lakers with 12 straight, Steve, from 79 to 91.
Yeah, 58 wins last season for San Antonio. Greg Popovich calls it corporate knowledge, just the consistency that comes with the experience of the group. And they've been together so long, particularly that core, that I think it allows the Spurs to really kind of cruise at times during the regular season.
Deng can't get it to go.
Timeout Spurs.
San Antonio calls timeout.
Well, Luol Deng, originally from South Sudan, his family moved to London when he was a teen, and then for him, going to the United States, a worldly player for sure, and he's been involved in a lot of causes, both here in the U.S. and internationally.
So San Antonio going with an almost entirely new group here. And I think Doris Burke has something for us right now. Doris?
Kevin, Greg Popovich was just going over the plan with his team. He was not at all satisfied with their effort level, saying, we're losing the hustle plays and all the 50-50 balls. We simply can't win that way. We've got to get after it. Let's see how they respond, Kevin.
And going back to Deng, so active off the court, helping Sudanese refugees, Basketball Without Borders, numerous charities. He has his parents instilled him with that kind of thoughtfulness.
Yeah, and he's also championed a lot of causes in the UK, campaigning to maintain funding for the British national team. Deng is passionate, both on and off the court. You just love his approach to the game and to life, Kevin.
Good point. They really want to find that igniter here.
Yeah, that's right. Kevin, the offense has basically been running in place.
They got to get going.
Boy, a pick was set at the perfect angle on the floor, and he used it nicely.
Well, that's a play we may see from them a few more times.
Why not? I mean, when it works, you go back to it. Make them stop you.
Now here's Gibson. Bell dishes to Williams. Lewis, 6 to shoot. And Brandon Rush hits the whistle that time. That is his first foul of the game.
First team foul.
Gibson in the post. Skola's there. Here's Lewis. No good off the front iron. Spurs trail by 4. Burke, the pass to Scola. Gibson on him. Tries from 16. Scola, no luck. The Trailblazers have gone just 2 of 8 in this fourth quarter. The final quarter not treating them well so far. Williams kicks to Gibson. Bell. They grab their own miss. The dish now to Lewis. He passes to Williams. Back to Lewis. Shot to end this cold run. Good. And the Trailblazers lead by 6.
One of the big stories is second chance point. They've just been terrific here in the second half in that area.
Burke kicks to Scola. Now the pass to Burke. Lock at 6. San Antonio needs to get off a shot here. Here's Scola. Sean Lewis pulls it in.
They really depend on him to convert those chances. A lot of times, even with solid D draped on him, they expect him to make it.
And stolen by Scola. He dishes it to Miller from outside the arc. That is good.
That's like a layup for him. He's just wide open out there.
Portland leading by 3. Outside Williams. Back to Gibson. Scola's there. He kicks it to Lewis. And out of bounds as the Spurs gain possession.
Oh, no, you hate to see that. Those are just the kind of errors that can cost you in a game like this.
DeMarcus Cousins. He's checked in for Chuck Hayes. Lillard against Williams. Lillard dishes to Allen. But they recover it. Henderson kicks to Henson. Now the feed to Lillard. San Antonio again missing.
They've been strong on the board. There's no disputing that.
That's what the box score says. Still anybody's game, though.
And Beatrice kicks to Spates. And some nice ball movement here by the Trailblazers, who is outside. Now a timeout called by Portland. An almost entirely new group here for Portland. Harry Sanders is checked in for Beatrice. Dang comes in for Rashard Lewis. James Harden, he's checked in for Raja Bell. And it's Collison in for Terrence Williams. Sanders' shot is off. San Antonio with the ball. They're on a 14-6 run. Lillard, the pass to Allen. Back to Lillard. Cousins with a screen on Harden. Lillard attacking Henson. He's covered by Collison. The shot's good from Henson.
Nice pass. That one was right on target.
Portland's gone 0-3 so far in the fourth quarter from long range. Collison off the pick from Sanders. Harden inside the three-point line. Dang up top, defended by Allen. Harden outside. It's stolen by Allen. And a fast break now for the Spurs. Allen leading the charge.
Check out the game for Allen. 9 points and 2 steals. He's been their leader, stirring the drink at the offensive end and then anchoring the defense.
Well, it's a good example, Clark, of how you set the table for the rest of your teammates. He's really brought focus and energy to this game. Great composure at the line. A lot of pressure on those free throws, but he stepped up and buried them.
It's Harden with the drive. Throws it down as the official calls the foul. It may be a three-point play. It's on DeMarcus Cousins. Clark and Steve, neither team with a big advantage here in the fourth quarter.
5 times we've had the lead switch so far. I mean, back and forth we go.
Yeah, and I think that total could rise, Clark, because two evenly matched teams playing a tough game. He's been trying to add that mid-range shot to his arsenal, but it still isn't there.
Harden dishes to Collison. Spates with a screen on Allen. And for 3, Collison kept alive. Dang with it. Now defended by Henderson. Dang kicks to Spates. Damian Lillard pulls it in.
Not a bad look at the hoop. Just couldn't get it to bounce in for him.
Henderson drains the three-pointer. And the Spurs lead by 1.
This is incredible. It's been a three-point barrage since halftime.
Yeah, whether by design or by accident, it has been impressive.
Back to Harden. The kick out to Spates.
Tough call there and a tough break for the defense.
But you know, I think you could still see him kind of sliding in there. I don't have a problem with the call.
First free throw is good, and that ties the game up. Second free throw, no good that time. He really wanted that one.
They should be in front right now, but he'll be relieved not to have come up totally empty there.
Lillard outside. Shot clock at 6. The drive by Cousins. It's in!
A crucial basket.
They needed it, and he gave it to them.
Now a timeout called by Portland. They're down by 2. We've got 28 seconds left in the game. For the Trailblazers, Theodrich comes in for Larry Sanders. And Taj Gibson is subbed in for Maurice Spates. 4 seconds separating the shot and game clocks. Back to Harden. Rebound, San Antonio.
Boy, they almost tied it up with that shot.
Boy, they're this close here in the fourth quarter. Scrapping back into it.
He hits the first one, and that makes it a 3-point lead. And he hits both free throws here. So now it's a 4-point ball game.
And I'll tell you what, those 2 free throws give them some much-needed breathing room, guys. It's now a 2-possession game.
And stolen by Lillard. And an intentional foul there stops the clock.
Yeah, you can't let them pound the ball and just milk those precious seconds away.
No other option here but to foul and hope for a few misses at the line.
So he goes 2 for 2 at the line. And it's a 6-point ball game.
Well, that's going to be it. Great work at the charity stripe. That'll close this game out.
The 3 from Harden. Gets the 3 to fall. And that's an intentional foul. He drops the first one, and that gives them a 4-point cushion. And so he drops them both. It's a 5-point game. Now Theodrich off the inbound pass. The shot, no good.